Earlier this morning, EA Sports released their franchise deep dive for Madden 23, and there's a lot of new information and exciting stuff in here. As a diehard franchise player and a franchise content creator here on YouTube, I figured I would share my thoughts and analysis on all of the new additions that have been added to the mode this year. EA is really focused on enhancing the realism, upgrading the authenticity, and overall improving the experience for the franchise player, and I really feel like they did that, and I'm excited to lay down all of the new changes that EA has made to the mode. A few years ago, the Fix Madden franchise movement came out, and although EA's been a little bit slower than many of us have hoped for on adding big changes, I think the additions to the mode this year are a major building block to giving us the franchise that we've all been hoping for so many years. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it with all of the big changes and additions here into Madden 23's franchise mode. One of the biggest changes, in my opinion, would have to be free agency. EA has completely revamped how free agency works. In the past, it just used to be whichever team offers the player the most money, but now there's a lot more nuances to it, which I think better sort of goes over how real free agency in the NFL actually works. Players have motivations for where they want to go. For example, here with Derwin James, he wants to play for a big market, he wants to play close to home, and he wants to play on a Super Bowl contender. The Rams fit the criteria of a big market or a Super Bowl contender, but they don't fit his criteria of playing close to home since he's from the state of Florida. This makes it easier or harder to offer players, and it gives them other motivations other than just money. These are not the only player motivations, but those are the ones with Derwin James here. There are many other ones in there as well. You'll also be able to tell how many teams have offered him, and when you make an offer, you'll be able to tell if you are in the hunt for the player or not. This way, it's a little bit harder than just knowing how much money you've offered compared to the other teams, which has been the case in past Madden. So I think it adds a level of immersion when offering these players. You also have to sort of balance out your offers. You can't offer a bunch of players in the first stage. You can only offer 5 players in stage 1. Then you have to obviously simulate. In stage 2, you can offer up to 10 players, and then in stage 3, you can offer as many as you want. I think this is interesting because it sort of gives you a focus on which players you really want to target, and then after that, you can sort of spend a little bit more freely on as many guys as you want. Other options in free agency include the Evaluation Offers tab, which is where you can offer a player without simulating the week, and you can also go back and forth on which players you want to offer contracts to. On the bottom left, you can also sort players based on certain attributes, ratings, or positions and stuff like that, so you can better get an idea of who you may be interested in offering for free agency. They have also changed the contracts a little bit. Rather than just offering players salaries or bonuses, you can offer them a player-friendly contract, a team-friendly deal, a neutral deal, or a very player-friendly contract. You will still be able to offer them a custom salary and bonus, but I think this personalizes the contract offering a little bit, and it certainly makes it more interesting, and you have to figure out if you want to give the player more money, or if you'd rather do a team-friendly deal, which is a lot more likely to have the player leave and join a different team. Rollover cap is also being added, so you'll be able to carry your cap space from season to season, which was not a thing in past Maddens. We talked about player motivations in brief detail earlier today. Let's go into more detail about that. When offering a player, you can go through their player card and go through the motivations and player tags they have. For Jason McCourty, for example, he wants to play for a historically winning franchise, a Super Bowl contender, and a warm weather state. These player motivations change from player to player, and there are a ton of different ones scattered throughout the mode. EA gave a few examples during their deep dive of players who would have different ones, the first of which is recently signed Saints receiver Jarvis Landry. Part of the big reason why he wanted to go to New Orleans is because he's from Louisiana and he played in college at LSU. So Louisiana is obviously home for him. So that's a big boost if you're the Saints and you want to sign a guy like Jarvis Landry. Another one here could be having a franchise quarterback. Russell Gage signed with the Bucs because he wanted to play with a guy like Tom Brady, so it gives you an advantage if you have an elite quarterback. More offensive skill position players are going to want to go there. For an older player like Von Miller who's prioritizing a Super Bowl run, you're going to have a better chance of signing him if you're a contending team like the Buffalo Bills. And as I said, for so many different players, these motivations change across the board. They even have low state income tax as one of the player motivations here for Julio Jones. So if you're a team from Texas or Florida, you might have the upper hand on that. Next to the players' motivations, you'll notice that they have player tags. This is something that has not been in the game since, I believe, Madden 12, and is finally back 11 years later. This improves free agency logic, trade logic, draft logic, and player progression. If you look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers, he's going to have the award winner tag and the franchise quarterback tag because he's an elite quarterback and he's won a back-to-back MVP. So this will sort of highlight what he is able to do. Another example here would be with star wide receiver Jamar Chase, who has day one starter. Many young players will have this tag, which will allow them to start earlier above veterans, even if they're more lower rated. This will give young players an opportunity to get on the field quicker and progress quicker, as the Bengals did with Jamar Chase last year, which obviously worked out in a major way. Another tag is mentor. This can be for older players like Bobby Wagner. They'll be able to mentor younger players, and that will boost XP at that position. During the Madden 22 cycle, EA completely overhauled scouting, and although I think many of the ideas they added were good in principle, there was a lot wrong with the update, and I think they've corrected a lot of those mistakes. You'll be able to choose from more scouts to hire, which will better give you an opportunity to hire scouts who are good at scouting positions that you need. You'll be also able to scout different positions during each week, meaning you'll be able to get more information on a plethora of different players. Last year in Madden 22, they kind of revealed some attributes pretty randomly. For example, with quarterbacks, they added stuff like break tackle and stiff arm, and you found that information out before actual important stats for a QB. This year, that's not going to be the case. Many of the quarterbacks' most important stats, such as their throw accuracy, throw on the run, and throw power, will be revealed sooner, and obviously this is the case with every position, not just quarterback. Along with these changes, EA has also listened to the community and has made some small changes from there as well. They've decided to tune the draft classes to make them a lot more fun. I've always thought the EA classes have been kind of bland, which is why I always make custom draft classes for my series, and although I probably still will be making custom classes, these auto-generated classes are a lot more fun. You'll be able to find generational players who have super high ratings as rookies right away, and will also be guaranteed superstar X Factors. We saw guys like Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons light the NFL on fire last year, so I think it's good that we'll be able to have players like that who can be superstars at the jump and be Hall of Fame level talents. Trading has also slightly been redone as well. There are more players scattered throughout the league on the trade block, meaning it's going to be easier to find players you may want who other teams don't want. When looking through a player's player card, they'll have a tag that suggests that they are on the block, and when you add a player to the trade block, you'll be able to get offers right away without simulating the week. I saw a rumor a little while back that said that there are going to be up to 6 trade slots per trade. That was not confirmed here in the deep dive, so I don't know if that's true, but I've seen that as a rumor. It'll also be easier to give out certain superstar abilities as well, and you'll be able to give players certain abilities based on their ratings at a set archetype. Along with that, the franchise hub looks a little bit different as well. They've cleaned it up a lot, and I think if you compare the side-by-side view from Madden 22 to Madden 23, Madden 23's franchise hub looks a lot better in my opinion. Overall, I think EA did a fantastic job of revamping franchise mode. I cannot wait to get my hands on Madden 23 and start making content here for YouTube on franchise mode. In the description, I will put a link to the article about all of the franchise changes in case you want to read more from EA's perspective. I will also put a link for you to pre-order the game in case that is something you would like to do. The game comes out in the middle of August, so about a month or so. That'll wrap up the video. I hope everybody enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Peace out.